Welcome to a new show and a brand new season of Scene and 10. We are your daily down the middle explanation of what's happening in the world, and I'm your host, Cole Dozen. It's great to starting a new season with you. There's a lot of that going on around the world, so from chaos in the Asian country of Afghanistan to the ongoing and some new problem brought by the worldwide spread of COVID-19, the struggle in the Caribbean island nation of Haiti is into another devastating earthquake earlier this month. We are planning to cover all these stories on our show this week, but we are starting today a look at the situation in northern United States, which was just hit by a relatively rare tropical storm. Its name is Henry. It formed near Bermuda exactly a week ago on August 16th. On Saturday, Henry temporarily strengthened to hurricane status, which means its wind speeds were at least 74 miles per hour. But yesterday's the system weakened as speed as its approach land, and it were downgraded to tropical storm status. Still, Henry is problem, a big one for part of the U.S. that's not used to seeing a lot of Atlantic hurricanes or tropical storms. The region of New England, which includes the state of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, hasn't seen a hurricane make landfall since 1991. That's where Tropical Storm Henry was seen over the weekend. It made landfall on Rhode Island Sunday afternoon. At the time, more than 50 million people were under some sort of storm-related warning. For example, because the threat of the storm surge, a rise in seawater levels pushed ashore by a tropical system flowing were a threat to millions, especially in low-lying areas. In some coastal towns in Connecticut were ordered to leave their homes. More than 1,000 flights were cancelled in the region as tropical. Storm Henry approached at the National Guards were activated in Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, and Rhode Island to help with the rescue and recovery efforts following the storm. Thousands of power restoration and cleanup crews were also put on standby in case electricity was lost and trees fell and blocked roads. Henry is the eighth main storm in this Atlantic hurricane season, which officially runs from June 1st through November 30th. Though hurricanes can form at any time, many forecasters expect the season to be above average in the number of named storm officials are predicting. But so far this year is not keeping pace with 2020 season, which set a record with 30 named storms. Andrew, Cartier, Harvey, Emor, they are some hurricane names most of us will never forget. Naming hurricanes has taken some trial and errors, and some of the rules are still changing. In the early days, military meteorologists used to name storms after their wives' girlfriends, but none of these names were made public. But in 1950, everything changed. In the U.S. Weather Bureau started naming storms. They began using the World War II phonic alphabet. Aber, Baker, Charlie, Dog, Easy, but this created confusion as well because every year the storms were named the same. In 1953, the US started using only female names. Then in 1979, we started alternating between men and women, and we recycle that list every 6 years. In the Atlantic Basin now, we mostly use English, Spanish, and French names. Storm are given short, distinctive names to help communications and avoid confusion. You can't request a storm to be named after you, and there's no storm name that begin with Q, U, X, Y, or Z. Frankly, because there's just as many names that start with those letters. The naming process is handled by the United Nations Meteorological Organization. A storm's name will be retired if it's too costly, deadly, or too inappropriate to be used again. In fact, from 1953 to 2020, there have been 93 storms named retired. In 2025 and 2020, we actually use all the names on the predetermined list and then started to use the Greek alphabet for the reminder of the storms. Well, now that is a thing to be the past too. The World Meteorological Organization decided that the Greek alphabet was too confusing and even more confusing when a Greek letter needed to be retired. So they have come up with a subsequent list that will be used in the future surface all the storm names are used. And just like each individual name, each storm has its own personality.